For years, the rumors existed like background noise, present, persistent, but never addressed. Colin Firth, the actor synonymous with restraint and dignity, said nothing. He didn't correct headlines. He didn't offer statements. He didn't defend an image. He simply stayed quiet. At 65, that silence ended, not with spectacle, with clarity. The affair, first reported through legal filings and court documents, didn't break his marriage quietly. It broke it publicly. Private messages were exposed. Accusations circulated. What should have remained between two people became a global narrative, stripped of nuance and empathy. For Colin Firth, the betrayal itself was devastating, but the exposure was worse. Because grief, when it's public, is rarely allowed to be human. It becomes content. It demands reactions. It invites judgment. And suddenly, a man known for composure was expected to perform pain on command. He refused. Those close to him say Colin was shaken, not only by what happened, but by how quickly compassion disappeared. How easily decades of marriage were reduced to scandal. How readily strangers decided what the truth was supposed to be. Inside the marriage, the conversations were far more difficult than anything printed. Trust had been crossed, boundaries erased. And yet, there were children, a shared life, years that couldn't simply be edited out. For a time, they tried to hold on. Not for appearances, but because walking away from a life you believed in feels like surrender, even when it isn't. At 65, Colin would later admit that this period forced him to confront a truth he had long avoided. Loyalty does not guarantee safety. Staying does not always equal love. And silence, while dignified, can become a form of self-erasure. The separation came quietly. No public blame, no dramatic reckoning, just an acceptance that something essential had broken and could not be repaired by endurance alone. When Colin finally confirmed the rumors, it wasn't to reopen wounds, it was to close a chapter that had already ended in private. He acknowledged the truth without bitterness, without accusation, without turning pain into performance. That restraint confused people. But for Colin Firth, it was a line he would not cross. He refused to let betrayal harden him, refused to let humiliation rewrite who he was, refused to turn a personal collapse into public theater. What followed was not liberation, it was reckoning, a quieter life, heavier roles, a visible shift toward introspection. The romantic ideal softened, replaced by characters shaped by regret, solitude, and moral weight. At 65, Colin Firth didn't reclaim youth or innocence. He reclaimed agency. By telling the truth once, calmly, deliberately, he took back ownership of a story that had been taken from him. And in doing so, he offered something rare in the aftermath of scandal. A reminder that dignity isn't silence forever. It's knowing when truth no longer needs defending and walking forward without resentment.